Hey, house guests! Welcome to today's Big Brother 27 updates and spoilers. Hope you're all having a wonderful Saturday today. Hey, Christine. Hope you're doing great today. Our house guests of the day are Corey P., Andy Van Veen, and Casey and Shayna, a husband and wife from New Orleans. Thank you all so much for the support. We could not do this without you, and we appreciate you all so much. So thank you again. And if you guys want to be house guests of the day, just send us an email to madrosed@gmail.com, and we will get you on the list. Just make sure you put house guest of the day as the subject line so we can find your email. Hello, everybody. Dawn, Chicken Pot Pie, Nindy, Aunt Amy Bonner. Thank you all for being here. Maria D. It's been quite a week, hasn't it? But I am excited about where things are going right now. Hello, everybody's coming in. So when we left off yesterday, the feeds were down for the nomination ceremony, and new HOH Ava was ready to shake things up. Ava, baby, she was only doing one-on-ones with a very select group of people. She was really only talking to Rachel, Will, Mickey. She was talking to Ashley a little bit here and there, but she's still skeptical about trusting Ashley, so limited, right? But she decided on her own, like before she even started talking to people, that she wanted to nominate Vince, Zach, and Keanu this week. She's changing it up. So when it comes to Vince and Zach, she really did not like the way that they tried to flip the vote on Will a few weeks ago to keep Adrian. They never really talk game with her outside of trying to flip the vote on Will to keep Adrian. And also, they are very influential on this game. So she wants to take a shot at them, break up their little group. And then with Keanu, they've had their issues, right? I mean, they had their little shouting match after the veto last week. So Ava wasn't super thrilled about that. But even before that, there's always been like this weirdness. Keanu thinks that they're like best friends. Ava's like, nah, son. But yeah, she doesn't actually want Keanu to go. Keanu is not her target here. She would actually love to see Keanu win the veto this week to ensure that Vince and Zach will stay on the block, because she would love to see the two of them have to campaign against each other and really tear that group apart, make them choose between Zach and Vince. So she also had a few potential replacement nominees in mind. She was thinking maybe Morgan, maybe Lauren, because they are both super tight with Zach and Vince. She might have to put both of them up this week. Let's not forget, Zach has his secret power from night one where he saved Julie and he got the $10,000. This power can be used after the veto ceremony. So he can wait and see, like, am I going to win veto? Is somebody going to win veto and use it on me? And then if he's still up on the block after the veto ceremony, he can enact his power and he can actually buy his safety with the $10,000 from night one. Ava cannot refuse. Ava might be getting $10,000 richer. And then she would have to put someone else up in his place. So she could end up having to nominate 5 people this week, just like Jimmy did. Oh my God. So going into the ceremony, Keanu and Vince, they both figured they're probably going to be going up on the block. Vince was nervous AF about it. We've already seen in previous weeks any thought of himself potentially going up on the block. He's just like, oh my God, I can't do it. Not this early. So they had a feeling it was coming. Zach, on the other hand, seemed to have no clue. He did not think there was a chance that he would be going up. So even though Mickey did spill that Ava said she was going to make a big move this week that they'd never see coming. Mickey is trying to play both sides right now, and she's being very sloppy about it. It's just like a lot. After her targeting Jimmy last week because she was saying he was playing both sides of the house, and now she's trying to do that exact same thing, and she's not even good at it. It's a lot. But they had the nomination ceremony, and as planned, Ava nominated Keanu, Vince, and Zach. And when the feeds came back, let's talk about some of the immediate reactions. Keanu was like, I knew it. I called it. I do think I remember him saying there was like, wouldn't it be crazy if him, Vince, and Zach were all up on the block together. And Vinny was like, no, it's not going to happen. There's no way. It did, though. It sure did. Vinny and Zach were both saying they think that Rachel is responsible for this move. They can't even fathom that Ava would make this move on her own. Y'all don't know Ava Pearl, apparently, but Zach goes up to the HOH room to talk to Ava. It was so funny because Will was actually hiding in the bathroom at the time. So he was able to listen into this conversation. And Ava is apologizing to Zach for putting him up on the block. She's like, I'm sorry, but I was not going to put Kelly up there again. She's already been up so many times. And I think you're a guy that can really take care of yourself on the block. And she tells him, I don't want you to go home, but somebody's got to go up, right? She can't just nominate no one. So Zach wants to know, can I ask why you thought I was nervous when you won HOH? Because I believe Ava mentioned in her nomination speech that Zach was running around being all nervous, shaking like a leaf when she won HOH. So Zach is like, right before the ceremony or whatever, I guess it was after she won HOH, you told me that we're riding this thing together. So he was pretty surprised to end up on the block. So Ava says, frankly, she said frankly a lot in this conversation, but she says, frankly, I've heard that you said I'm a big question mark. And I see you downstairs saying you don't know what I'm going to do. And that's not really behavior that indicates that you trust me. And she says, it's not inherently unfair. Like, you don't have to trust me, but it's just the truth. You know, I can tell the vibe is off. But Ava brings up also, we did have an alliance that kind of fell apart. Remember that good old Bond alliance? Are they going to bring it up on the show now? I feel like they have to because of what's going on. Or are they still just going to like pretend it never happened? But that alliance fell apart when Lauren nominated 2 of its members, right? So she says, frankly, there wasn't too much talk after our alliance fell apart. Or at least you guys didn't really talk to me anymore. You guys were still talking to each other without me. I mean, they left out Ava and Will, but I mean, Zach, Vinny, Lauren, they're all super tight. Adrian's at home. So Ava says, this is not a personal thing. I respect you as a person and a player. And she's telling him if there's anyone who can beat Keanu in the competitions, it's you. But again, she doesn't want them to beat Keanu. She wants the nominations to either stay the same or have Keanu win. So Zach is like, oh, I'm sorry that I didn't pull you for more one-on-one conversations. I thought our relationship, we were just checking in with each other like once a week. Once a week? You know how much can happen, how much can change in once a week. I know he doesn't actually believe that, but he's saying it. So he said, I apologize if you thought I was nervous about you being HOH. Like, I never would have put you up on the block. And Ava's like, I think you're a great player. I think you can take care of yourself. And Zach says, I just wish I had more of a warning that I was going up on the block. So Ava's apologizing again for that. That conversation ends. And then Ava goes to get Will from the bathroom. It was cracking me up. The way he like turned around and waved at the camera. It was very funny. But yeah, Ava's asking Will, how did I do? Did you think it sounded okay? And Will says, yeah, I think you handled that conversation well. They agree. Everybody's got to go up at some point. You can't just like go through this game and not be nominated. I mean, you can, but the chances of it are pretty slim. So Will goes outside and he ends up sitting with Morgan and Vinny. And Vinny's like, oh, I didn't want to go up on the block, especially this early in the game. And he's saying this in front of Will, who's been up twice already. I guess it's okay for Will to go up on the block this early, but not for Vince. It's just a lot. I mean, Vince is a whiner. Does it suck going up on the block? Of course, but like he can really whine with the best of them. So anyway, where are we? A little later, Keanu checks in with Ava. And Keanu is a seasoned professional at this point when it comes to being up on the block. He's been up there a bunch already. So I think he handled this conversation with Ava really well. He's like, even though you put me up on the block, that does not lessen my trust in you. He figured he was probably going to go up because of the little spat that they had last week after the veto competition. And he's like, I know we talked through it and everything, but I do feel like this is my punishment for losing my cool. And he says, I will take it on the chin 10 out of 10 times, right? I get it. So these two agree they're going to be moving forward with a clean slate. Everything is all good now. And Ava says, I really appreciate you understanding why I did what I did. It is what it is. And she kept saying that in all of her conversations with the nominees. It is what it is. But Keanu also puts it out there that he would like to work with her moving forward. I mean, Keanu would like to work with pretty much anybody moving forward because he just wants some allies at this point. He wants a team that he can rock with. So he's putting it out there. Meanwhile, Zach and Lauren are chatting in the have not room. And they're both just like, I wasn't expecting that. I didn't know that you were going to go up on the block. I mean, they thought maybe Vince, but not Zach also. So they're both thinking that Rachel got to Ava and made her do this. No. I know it's hard for Lauren to imagine, but some HOHs just like make their own decisions. They don't have to wait for someone to tell them what to do. A burn. But anyway, Lauren said she's seeing effing red right now. I'm so pissed off, but I'm trying not to react. And Zach tells her about the conversation that he just had with Ava. And he's like, yeah, she told me that we haven't really talked any game. And Lauren's like, Ava doesn't talk any game with anyone. And Zach starts like aggressively whispering. He's like, Zach just like, or not Zach, not Zach. Ava just sleeps her ass off 24 hours a day. Like, how are we supposed to talk to her? Does she want me to just go in there and be like, hey, Ava, let's talk game? I mean, yeah, try to talk to her. I don't know, even like before she was HOH. But Zach brings up again, she told me that I was good, so I didn't think I had to worry this week. You should probably still try to talk to her, But Zach says, I did talk a lot of game with Ava when we were trying to figure out if we should keep Will or Adrian a few weeks ago. Yeah, that was a few weeks ago. Also, that's not really like strategy talks moving forward. And she really didn't like the things that you were pushing during those conversations. But Lauren says Ava was the deciding vote to keep Will that week. And Zach says, yes, Ava is 100% the reason why Adrian is gone right now. What? Can we talk about that for a second? Because, like, what? Let's not forget, Lauren is the one who nominated Adrian. Don't put him up if you don't want him to go. And Zach and Vince totally could have forced a tie even without Ava's vote. And then Lauren could have broken the tie to keep Adrian. But they didn't want to put that on sweet baby Lauren. They didn't want to make her stick her neck out there and make a decision for everyone to see. So, like, that's on you. That's not Ava's fault. But then Zach is trying to figure out who should I pick to play in the power veto competition if I get house guest choice. So he's wondering, who is the bigger target between me and Vince? Who is the actual target this week? Do I just pick someone selfishly that I think will use it on me? Do I pick someone that would potentially use it on Vince if, like, I still have a chance to stay, but he's in more danger? So he's trying to figure that out. And it seems like he would be leaning towards picking Riley to play because, unfortunately, Riley is a strong competitor. So he's wondering, would Riley actually use the veto on me, though? Because he might be worried that Katherine would go up on the block as a replacement if he uses it. I mean, that's definitely a concern, right? I could also see Ava specifically picking Katherine in that situation because she would be pissed. I could see it. So a little later, we'll come back to that, but a little later, Mickey and Zach are chatting in the wine room, and Zach is saying this is Rachel's fault that he was nominated. She convinced Ava to do this. And Mickey's like, I don't think so. Yeah, I know. I think this was Ava. She brings up how Rachel was trying really hard to get Ava to vote to keep Jimmy last week that didn't happen, right? She says Rachel, while they might be close, Rachel doesn't seem to have any sway over Ava. She's not close enough to her to dictate her decisions. Again, like sometimes people just make their own decisions. They don't have to be told what to do. But also keep in mind for this conversation, Ava told Mickey about the Bond Alliance yesterday. She knows about that now. And she knows that that's a big part of the reason why Ava wanted to nominate Zach. So I'm wondering if Mickey was like trying to see if Zach would spill that information about the bond, but he did not. So after that, Zach talks to Riley in the bathroom. And Zach is complaining again that after Ava won HOH, she gave him a thumbs up that he was good this week. And he's like, she lied directly to my face, bro. And Riley says, yeah, this is a wild card HOH. You know, everybody's worried about what I would do if I won HOH, but like nobody worries about Ava. She's a wild card. He says Ava doesn't talk game with anyone. And this is rich coming from him because how many weeks? It was until like day 25, basically. Riley would be like, I'm not talking game. Don't talk game to me. I don't want to get caught up in anything. I'm here to have a good time. I'm not even trying to win. So now he's saying that Ava needs to start talking more game. Dude. But Zach says, it took every ounce of me not to stand up during the nomination ceremony and call out Ava for being a liar. She lied to my face. Zach's topper from Outer Banks is really showing more and more now that he's not getting his way. I swear to God, if you've seen Outer Banks, he is topper in just like vibes and personality. It's giving topper. So yeah, he's really he's not happy that Ava put him up on the block, of course. And Riley says, no matter what, I got you. So Zach is asking him about potentially using the veto on him. But he does tell Riley, I don't want to put you in that position if you think that Kat would go up as the replacement nominee. And Riley's like, you're my effing dog, bro. He says he's going to talk to Ava about who the potential renoms would be. So do I think that Riley would risk Katherine's game like that? Probably not. And Riley did say at one point to the cameras yesterday, like, oh, I'm really in a sticky situation right now. And if I do get picked to play the veto, I might have to throw it because all these dudes are going to be expecting me to use it on them. And of course, he doesn't want to potentially put Katherine in danger. It's funny, too, that Zach is the one who's freaking out the most out of all the nominees. And yet he's the one who has a secret power that can save him. So, I mean, I guess he doesn't want to give up that 10K, especially to Ava when he's pissed at her. But I don't know. Maybe he's already spent the money in his mind. Of course, it sucks to give up the money, but like you do have a chance here. He has 3 chances to save himself this week. But I guess he wouldn't wait until the blockbuster, right, to use it. Whatever. I don't know. He's being a lot about this nomination. So Vinny, he has his turn to chat with Ava in the HOH room, and she first and foremost, she apologizes for getting his last name during her speech because remember she wanted to be like Vinny the Lip Pandaro, but she couldn't remember his name. She blew it. So he laughs and says it's okay, it's fun, it's fine. And then she apologizes for putting him up on the block, and he asks, well, why do you call me the Lip? And she said this before. This was not just something she randomly said at the ceremony. And he's like, is it because of my mustache? Is it like something else? She says it's because he talks a lot. Ah! Dang. So Vinny's like, oh, okay, haha. And like he says, the thing that bummed me out about your speech was when you said I have my hands in a lot of pots. So Vinny's like, you know what? I guess it's like true to an extent, but I'm really not as good socially as some other people in here. I'm the anxious person. I struggle socially. And, you know, I guess he's saying part of the reason why he has so many one-on-ones with people is because he was the first HOH. So everybody was coming in to talk to him. And then that was just like something that kept happening even after he wasn't HOH anymore. And he says, half of the conversations I have with people, I'm checked out. Like, they pulled me for the one-on-one. I don't initiate those conversations. I think he initiates a decent amount of conversations for sure. But Vince tells Ava, it's okay. I'm not mad at you. I still want to hang out with you in New York. And Ava says what she's been saying to these other guys. You are all strong guys. You or Zach could beat Keanu in the competitions. She doesn't want that. But she says all three of you have an equal shot of winning your safety. And Ava says, I couldn't do it to Kelly. I couldn't put her up again. I'm sorry. And Vinny says he accepts her apology. He says this has been an eye-opening thing for him. He doesn't want to be seen as like a sneaky player or a weasel. And Ava's like, oh, no, you're not a weasel. I mean, it's kind of a weasel. But she says, I see you as more of like a mafia boss, right? That's why she says he's Vinny the Lip Panaro. But Vince says his downfall was allowing people to pull him into so many one-on-one conversations over and over and over. Sure, if that's what you want to say. So, changing gears a little bit. Mickey and Will were chatting in the wine room. And I have to say, Mickey's HOHitis is still infecting her. The virus is strong. So, Mickey was talking about putting together a new alliance, or really more a voting block than an alliance. She doesn't want it to be like an official thing. But it would be with Mickey, Will, Ava, Keanu, Riley, and Katherine. Oh, but this is where it gets really, what? Because she says all that. But she also tells Will, I also have the option to work with Morgan, Vince, Zach, maybe even Lauren, right? She says that group, they wouldn't put me up on the block if they won HOH. I'm good with them. So she tells Will, I don't know which group to work with. Do I work with your group or do I work with Morgan and all them? She says, I don't want to play the middle. How are you going to tell one of your allies, like, I don't know if I want to work with you or if I'm going to work with this other group? That is absolutely insane to me. But again, Mickey's HOHitis has carried over into this week. She thinks she's untouchable at this point. She thinks like nobody's going to put her on the block, but like people are onto her. Yes, Ballistic Coffee Boy. She is slappy. So a little later, Mickey chats with Katherine and Riley, and Mickey is proposing the voting block alliance thing to them. And she tells them, if Keanu comes down, if he pulls himself off the block, we can work with him. He is a comp beast and we can use him as a weapon. He can help us get to jury. And people will never suspect that I'm working with him because I put him up on the block. So Mickey says, we have Will and Ava. And with you two and Keanu, we'll be able to control the votes until we get to jury. And then once we get to jury, we can decide if we want to keep working together or if we want to like realign or whatever, dissolve this thing. So like, let's look at what she's saying here. Not only is she trying to play both sides of the house by creating this like voting block, which is something that she nominated Jimmy over and took out her own number, but she's also trying to set up this voting block alliance, whatever group, without consulting Ava about it first. So she's not even checking in with all the members first. And this is something that she basically scolded Ashley for doing the other night. Remember when she got all pissed at Ashley for saying, oh, Keanu wants to work with us, meaning Will and Mickey and her? And she was just like, I can't believe you did that. You basically confirmed to Keanu that we're working together. But here she is saying like, oh, we have Will and Ava. And she didn't even talk to Ava about it yet. It's super messy. At least in this conversation, Riley is agreeing with what Mickey is putting out there. And then they start talking about the vote for this week. They're talking about who they should keep between Vinny and Zach. And like, I was going to say Zachy. Vin and Zachy. They have not even played the veto competition at that point, and they don't even know that Zach has a secret power. So it's possible that neither of those nominees will be on the block by the time they get to vote. So anyway, Mickey says, I have more of a personal relationship with Vinny, but we don't really talk game. And then she says, Zach has talked game with me, but I think I could beat him. He hasn't won any competitions besides night one. I mean, Mickey is 1-0. So, but she says he sucks at the comps. Vinny is smarter in this game than Zach. So it seems like she's trying to say Vinny needs to go because he is the stronger competitor, or at least I think that's what she's saying. Riley says, well, all three of the nominees love me. They just love me. They adore me. So I'm cool with whatever you guys want to do, whoever you want to take out, because they all love me. So, yeah, it's a lot. A few quick things from last night. Ava was leaning towards putting Morgan up as the replacement nominee if necessary. And she was honestly kind of wishing that she had just put Morgan up as one of the initial nominees because Morgan is getting on her nerves. She's hearing that Morgan is upset that Vince and Zach are up on the block. She might even try to save one of them with a veto. And Ava's going to be really pissed if Morgan wins that veto and uses it to save one of them. So Zach was continuing to make the rounds last night. He was telling anybody who would listen that Ava lied to his face about him being safe this week. And he also kept saying, I saved her week one. I chose her to be a have-not. Remember, like, the people that were have-nots week one were safe? So he is saying, like, I saved her week one because he picked her to be a have-not. It's a bit of a reach, but okay. He's saying, I never would have put Ava up, and now I have the perfect reason to. So, again, doing a lot for somebody who has a secret power to save himself. Vince and Riley had a chat about the votes last night. Again, they haven't even played the veto. People could be coming off that block. But Vince says, Ava really, she really effed up my game with this move because if me and Zach are on the block on Thursday, a lot of people are going to have to choose between us. Yeah, that's the point. She's trying to split you up. She's trying to tear up your group. Like, congratulations. But they are annoyed also with how comfortable Kelly is this week. How dare she? She's supposed to be up on the block. But Riley says also, Kelly's been sketching him out a bit. He says she's always staring at me and Katherine when we're together. Maybe it's because Kelly sees the truth of that relationship. Because I think she did say something to him the other day about like Katherine not liking something that he was doing. And I feel like that probably pissed him off. And I have to say, Riley continued to be a creep last night with Katherine. He keeps trying to coerce her into sleeping in the same bed with him at night, and she doesn't want to do it. She's made it very clear that she does not want to do it. She has even used the term boundary. Like, this is a boundary for me that I don't want to cross right now. She has put it out there so many times, but he keeps trying to guilt her into sleeping in the same bed with him. And it's so gross. And he's also like, oh, you don't have to do anything in this game. Like, I'm going to protect you. I'm going to take care of you because you're my woman. And I want everyone to know that you're my woman. It's like really, really gross. And they like kissed now, but like she didn't really, it seemed like she didn't want to. I don't like it. I can't. I can only talk about them so much because it makes me very, very sad. And I really wish that Big Brother would pull him aside and like say something to him because it seems very inappropriate. It's just not right. But later, Riley was ranting about how his HOH was taken away from him last week and Ava needs to play this effing game. He says she is not doing her HOH the right way. She's not even talking to anyone. And he's saying, like, she just lucked out winning this competition. He's like, I really love her, but she lucked out winning this. And it sounds like Ava may have been up against Riley during one of the rounds of this last HOH, the knockout competition. And he's like, yeah, she clicked it right, like right before I was going to push the button, blah, blah, blah. So I think he's a little bitter about that too. But then in the last round, it came down to Ava and Will. And he's like, oh, she just had to stand there and Will got it wrong. So bitter. So He's saying Ava needs to play this game. She's not giving anyone an opportunity to see where things lie. I mean, she really doesn't have to. She doesn't have to give you anything. Is it the smartest move for her to be so secretive? Maybe not. But like, you're not entitled to that information. She does not have to share things that she doesn't want to. But apparently, Riley doesn't understand how that works. So anyway, he really wants to know who the renom would be if the veto is used. I'm sure he is wondering, is it going to be me? Would it be Katherine? So he's pissed. But another thing from last night, Morgan. Oh, Morgan. She is feeling personally attacked by these nominations. She feels like these noms were a move against her. She says, 2 of my friends are up there on the block and they're trying to make me choose between them. Yeah. And she knows I know I'm not up on the block, so I get that. But like, no one has asked me how I feel. She's always talking about how nobody talks to her on like a personal level. And she feels like she's just a number to people. But like the way that she talks about everyone and like who she wants in jury, she's always talking like these people are just numbers. So you get what you put out there, pretty much. But she's also wondering, is Mickey behind this? Because Mickey is really close to Ava. Is she trying to do this to take out one of my allies and then pull me back into her? And Morgan was also very hurt because Mickey specifically has not asked her how she feels, and she thought they were closer. But one more thing from last night, Keanu told Vince he is considering using the veto on Vince. What? Oh my God. So he's saying if he wins the veto, Keanu, who is on the block, he's saying if he wins the veto, he would consider using it on Vince instead of on himself. Or he would potentially throw the competition to Vince because he feels like Vince is more in danger this week. Is he really that confident that he's safe this week? I mean, he definitely has said it feels different. You know, it doesn't feel like he is directly the target. That doesn't mean that you won't become the target. I mean, again, like, these people don't know about Zach's power. So, like, can you imagine if Keanu wins the veto, uses it on Vince, and then Zach uses his power, and then Keanu's on the block next to, like, Morgan and Lauren? Something tells me he wouldn't be very happy about that. But, again, they don't know about Zach's power. Can you actually imagine, though, if Keanu does not use the veto on himself if he wins again? Oh my God. So Vince is just like, yeah, if you want to do like that, do that. That's amazing. That's great. I love it. Of course he does. Okay, so today they had the POV player picks this morning. So of course we have Ava the HOH. We have the 3 nominees, Keanu, Vince, and Zach. And then the 2 extra players are Will and Katherine. Interesting group. Okay, so I'm curious if Katherine were to win this, how many of them would actually like talk to Katherine directly and not try to go through Riley? I know. But anyway, this morning, Ava was still saying that Morgan will be the replacement nominee if the veto is used. And Mickey is not happy about this. Before, when Mickey was hearing this, when it was further away, she was all like, yeah, whatever you want to do. But now that it's actually becoming a more realistic possibility, Mickey is trying to change Ava's mind. She's like, do we really want to put up Morgan? Morgan is a number for us. Jimmy was a number for you too. Bet you're wishing he was still there. But she's like, let's just see what happens. Like, let's see what happens with the veto. And Ava's staying strong. She's like, no, sorry, Mickey. Morgan is targeting me. She's been talking shit about my nominations. It's gotten back to me. She also knows that Morgan wanted to win this veto and use it on one of the guys to save them. And she had even said before, I think she even said it in her nomination speech, if you're not happy about these nominations, then you can go up on the block as a replacement. So Ava's not having it. She will not be swayed by Mickey. And Mickey's telling Ava, like, please at least like talk to Will about it first before you decide. Even if Ava didn't put up Morgan, if like after the veto, she's probably definitely going to put her up after Zach uses his power. So, like, yeah. But the feeds are down now for the veto competition. They've been down for a while. So, hopefully, we will know soon who won the competition. I would love to see Keanu win this veto. But I hope he uses it on himself. It would be pretty funny, though, if he used it on Vince. But I do actually want him to win and use it on himself this time. Second week in a row, I never thought I would be saying that about Keanu. But all right. Let me thank our super chatters. Thank you all so much for being here. But I also want to thank our super chatters. Camila Gamba, thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Solo Angel Mom, thank you so much. And she says, love you, Maddie, in the game and as a person. Aw, thank you. Appreciate it. Susan Pengilly, thank you so much. Shout out to Canada. Thank you. Michael Grossman, thank you so much for the super chat. Michael says, thanks, Maddie, so much for the house guest of the day. Shout out this week. You're so welcome. I'm sure you're happy that Morgan has a good chance to go up this week. I am. I'm not going to lie. I would love to see Morgan hit the block. It would just be the cherry on top of the ice cream sundae this week. It really would be. She needs to feel that block a little bit. And she knows that it is possible that she'll be going up because she was talking to both Vince and Zach about it this morning. And she was telling them, like, look, I don't want you to be afraid to use the veto on yourself if you win because, like, I might go up. Girl, I don't think that would stop them. But she was telling them, like, yeah, I might go up, but, like, hopefully I'll be safe. And, I understand you got to play your games. Again, I don't think that they would consider, her potentially going up would not make them change their mind about using the veto on themselves. Girl. So thank you to Michael. B. Tina, thank you so much. Happy Saturday to you too. I love the froggies. They're so cute. And Ron and Kelly, thank you so much for the super chat. That is such a cute little sticker. You guys are awesome. All right. So I hope everybody enjoys the rest of their Saturday. Yes, like the video, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And thank you for being here. Just a reminder, no live stream tomorrow. I'm actually doing a corn festival tomorrow. My mom and I are going to be selling our crochet plushies, so we're very much looking forward to that. But we will still be recapping the episode tomorrow night. Hopefully we will have the energy for it. But that is the plan. So we'll see you tomorrow night. And until next time, much love. Bye, everybody. Goodbye.